Hi, this is Velma Bland. I'm back again. I'm not going to apologize for the last video. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. Because I'm fed up with violators of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and the rights of which were to protect the people or for the people. We do not have anyone coming here in the United States from Russia, wherever you're from, whoever you're governed by, and harassing me for 1 year since President Obama's birthday. And I called Washington, I called everybody in the local area to let you know that I suspect that a chemical bomb or some form of data interpreter transmitters are being utilized throughout computer systems and are in the air. And let me tell you, it's not planet singing. No, it isn't. Because January 2012, I was awakened to the sound of trumpets, and I heard a lot of scrubbing and a lot of scratching going on, and it sounded like someone were positioning a worldwide microphone, and that worldwide microphone has targeted the minority black people only. And let me tell you what I know was going on because I lived once in London, England. And let me tell you what I suspect and what I really believe is going on is that Russia has attacked America by using some form of dark government data interpreters, which comes from the sky. They have scanned NASA. That's why your what was it they sent up? Some type of a test missile came down because it was shot down. They have all sorts of things going on right now, which when we call to police to report that someone is reading data, has a transcriber, as I'm speaking right now, they got some slaves out there who are reading off some type of a transcriber that I'm being transcribed. And they are reading behind, they're feeding off me, off my intelligence, and they're feeding off my rights to have privacy. They are announcing everything that I'm doing every moment of the hour. If I peck my nose, Velma's picking her nose. If I go to the bathroom to use the bathroom, Velma's using the restroom. Everything that I'm doing. Let me clear this screen up because it looks kind of. Everything that I'm doing in my house is announced on some type of loudspeaker. Now, America has never had any such thing ever before in this country. I'm hearing some men laughing, women, and they just some silly people. Now, we all know that Bahamas has just accepted some type of agreements or something with Russia. We all know Cuba is governed by Russia. We all know South America as well is governed by Russia, as well as Jamaica and Grenada has some ties with Russia. Thus, British authority, the British Commons are also linked with the islanders. America, this is America right here in the middle, and this is everybody is around America. And right above America, we have Canada, of which is linked to France. And then we have the Bahamas over here to the east of Florida, really is in the same proximity distance of between West Palm Beach. We got what, 50 miles away. Bahamas is 50 miles away. Cuba is 50 miles away. Jamaica, say about 100 miles away, but Jamaica has to go around Cuba. Jamaica is right there with Cuba. And what do you think Jamaica is then? Cuba is governed by Russia. I am hearing a man every night and women every day, every moment of the hour, all day, harassing me. And they are knowing every part of my life from the time I was a little girl. It's almost as if I'm on judgment. Everything about me is being spoken about in an open microphone. How do these people know all this information about me? Who gave them that information? Why is not America noticing that there is a problem with Dr. Velma Bland, as in doctorate fellow, has reported that she's hearing, and she's not crazy. I am very intelligent. She is hearing people feeding off her mind. They are reading my mind. When has America ever had people reading our minds, America? Why aren't you waking up to what's going on around you? You got Russia in the midst of your country. You are no longer America. You are Russia. You are Russia. Because every time I tell you what's going on, you don't want to listen to me. You think I'm some stupid little black girl over there in Lauderdale Lakes. We got people over here reading my mind, America. They know every time I urinate. They know every time I peck my nose. They know when I go to sleep, they're watching me like some kind of scientist, neuroscientist. They're using biomeds and biophysical, and they're coming from NASA right up above me. They're doing some type of crazy stuff on me, America. Who told you that God gave you permission to put me on Judgment Day? All because I'm not stupid and I'm not a prostitute, that I want to become a doctor. You assign some crazy mad scientist to my brains, and they're reading my mind, and they're stealing my ideas, and they're talking to me day and night, and you trying to act like I don't hear them. And what they're using is apps. America is in danger. America is in danger. You got all your enemies in the USA. You better close down your immigration authorities. You better close down your airports. Our President of the United States, all of your plans are being read. They know everything you think about. They know everything you dream about. That's what they're doing to me. It just started last year on President Obama's birthday. In fact, it was August the 5th, one day before my boyfriend's birthday, August the 6th. And everybody's carrying on like they don't understand what's going on. I am a top student at a private research university. I've studied there since 2009. I've completed the program. I'm in the doctorate fellowship status. I am prepping now, preparing for my dissertation. My proposal is already in. And all I'm hearing is people telling me everything I'm doing, and they're not in my house. We have Russia in America that's in here through Skype, through Google, through everything. You need to take your satellites down. They are seeing too much. They know too much, President Obama. They know too much. If they know if I'm accidentally urinate on myself, that's what they're saying. Velma just peed on herself. Who are these people? Why aren't you caring? Why don't you understand that we are under some type of surveillance? You don't have surveillance on me. There's a surveillance on everybody in America. Look around you. You are surrounded by all of your enemies, America. Do you see any tears coming out of my eyes? I do not cry very often. I have become a mean bitch since this damn man that's been talking to me as if he is in some type of an interrogator on my life. And they're making me mad enough to hurt somebody. And I'm not that type of person. I am a very calm person. I don't need to be cursing and arguing and fighting, and got these little lawyers from Miami Heat with the L on the back of the car with the Miami Heat emblem on the back of the tag, following me around and watching me. Every time I come to an intersection, there's a BSO officer. The cars are black and white now. I seen a Russian flag over here at the hospital. Isn't it red, white, yellow, and got some little 4-leaf clover or something? 3 stripes going up at Florida Medical Center. Up in the air over there. You think I'm stupid? You think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy. I wouldn't make such a video. I am intelligent. I've gone through all of your conflicts analysis resolutions. I've got a book right here that I want to share with you. And it's called the National Sunday Law. I am not writing anything. I'm educated. I lived in London. I heard when I was over there in the 80s that America was going to be attacked. And I was like, well, why I didn't know all this when I was in America? Because I'm not in America. But what was it that they were talking about? It's what they had on the news. And then my husband, which were citizenship of London, we came back to America. And then the next thing I know, of which I have relatives that were in the U.S. military, I'm military. I come from a military family. He ended up in the Desert Storm or somewhere, the Sahara Desert or wherever he was. And they sent him to Alaska for many, many years. Because Alaska, okay, is looking directly at China, India, and all of the Middle East and the foreign countries over there. Okay, Vietnam, Korea. We have Indonesia. We as well have Hawaii right below it. They have Taiwan, where we have the occupation over there. We are under some type of suspicious activity, America. Don't you hear it? They're reading our minds. Who's doing it? I don't like it at all. We're supposed to have privacy. So what happened to our U.S. Constitution? Did we take it and set it on fire? Because you're not practicing what you preach. We do not have any rights anymore. America is under some type of anonymous attack, and you're acting like you don't know it. I don't understand why everybody around me is acting like something's the matter with me, looking and staring at me. My name, Velma Bland. King John Bland the first descendant. Your queen is accused of negotiating and bargaining with Mary from France, who's supposed to have been the queen. All this information I found out. I'm seeing Canadians come to the USA showing off their valuables and riches to us lately. Driving brand new Mercedes, Lexus, and all these expensive cars with Canadian tag on it. And some of them of which live in the same condo association with me. Some of them are nice and some of them are very wicked. And the ones that are wicked are from Russia. I'm not stupid. I know the difference between Canadians and Russians. They don't look like the normal white people I'm used to seeing. Not these that's coming here lately. They look evil. like they hate black people. And I'm concerned about it because I know white people. I've lived in, I'm an American, black American, native. I see them every day. I work for them. I know all of the white people's skin, and I know how their skin texture is, and I know their behavior and their body language. These people that just arrived here over the past year, they look like Russians. They don't like us. And they're doing some sneaky stuff in this condo and harassing me around here on a loudspeaker. They're using some type of data, biophysical, biomed, some type of interpreter, and they know how to read my mind around here. They're trying to steal my doctorate degree. They're trying to steal my condo. They're trying to steal everything. They're around here making noise, protesting. I'm not a felon. I don't have a felony record. Who are these people? What are they testing me for? What did I do? I'm a blend, that's why. And you're not going to kill me. No, you're not. Because my name is already in history since 11/11/11/12. And you better believe it, because I've done my research. You have it in the computer. We have been attacked by Russia. And I know our president isn't that damn dumb. And how they attacked us is they are using satellite, space, Google, your telecommunications, your electricity power sources, this computer, trackers. It's an experiment, the same experiment they used during the Holocaust, during slavery, because they need to know what you think about and what you dream about when you take a crap and when you pee, how it smells and how often you go. And it's in your ears. They're messing with my dog. My dog almost died last week. Someone shot me in my head, right through the ceiling of my house. And I saw the blood spurt out and a big X come like this before my eyes. This is the Bible in my hand. I would not lie to you. I was sitting down on my knees talking to my friend that visited me from the Bahamas. And I saw a bullet come like this and come down and hit me in my head. And I saw blood splatter from my head. And then I saw an X. And then I felt my head and I look around, there's no blood. I was shot in the head. Last week, my entire brain exploded in the inside of my head. Someone's using some type of test on me. They think that they can kill me on the inside. They're trying to explode me on the inside, trying to make my body explode. I got bullet holes in my wall in my bedroom in there. 3. I don't know how they got in there because the bullet holes are from the inside on my walls. And I go outside and I look at the outside, the back. There's no holes coming from the outside in. 3 of them. Honest to God in heaven. Shot in the head, right in my house. I don't see a hole where it come in. I don't have no blood, nothing in my head. Right here. It come down like this. Boom, in my head. And I saw the blood splatter. And there was a big X come like that. And I'm like, well, somebody playing some kind of game on me? Some kind of Xbox game? What are they doing? How did that happen? Who shot me and why I don't see the bullet or the blood? Why am I still alive? From the inside. They shot me from inside my house. Who is out there bothering with Velma Bland? What is it that you want from me? You people, let me tell you right now, you better listen to me. I'm not trying to become a politician. I don't want to stand up in your stage. I'm here in a video telling you what happened to me. And I don't have any feelings anymore because I don't like the way how people treated me. And yes, I'm angry because you won't leave me be. But I'm going to get you because you are not going to run me nowhere. Your Russians are here, America, and they are waiting to attack. They are here because these white people I'm seeing are not the people I'm used to seeing. I know white people because I lived around them and I mixed up with them. And these white people that come here look Russian. They look evil. They look angry. They look desperate. They look like they want to kill somebody. And your French people around here from Canada, what's going on? They're driving around these expensive cars from France, from Canada. But they got a reparation. Look like they're rich now. And I'll tell you a logical reason why. Because they're trying to claim. They're trying to claim that deaconry or that position that Mary, Queen Mary I, supposed to have. And she went broke. Queen Elizabeth I negotiated. That's why she's her children, her daughter or her granddaughter right now is in Buckingham Palace. Is in the palace of a Queen of England. I don't see anything funny. I hear them upstairs laughing. They can laugh all you want to. But your Russians are here, America. And I know they're here because they're bothering with me. We have never had anyone come in here and read somebody all day long, talking every minute of the hour, chanting and protesting and carrying on like they done lost their minds around here. If they're not bothering me, they're bothering my friend Carmen. They're bothering him, and he sit up and act like they don't hear them. Around here trying to turn somebody to a gorilla and a robot. Who are you? You're not going to turn me to a gorilla and a robot. And how did you shoot me in the head and why I'm not dead? Because you can't kill what God has blessed. And I told you in the other videos that I died before and I went up, I ascended through the rapture and I came back. And you can shoot, you can interpret data all you want to and try to drive me crazy, but it's not working. And what I got here for you, for those of you who want to look at me through this cyber link and try to catch me scratching my vagina, that is the stupidest thing that I ever seen in my life. Anybody, all day long, up my panties. And I remember the ladies put tampons on their ears and they were saying, get out of my panties. Well, I'm telling you to get the fuck out of my panties. That's what I'm going to add on it. Because I don't have AIDS. You have given everybody that nasty disease. And you know it. Through your needles. We had a man come through here. Free HIV test. And I am a person that studied the Bachelor of Science in Healthcare Services. I've worked in the medical centers before as a medical assistant. And I saw last year, somewhere around 2013, a white van was parked up in these neighborhoods in the black inner city around our pharmacy centers. Free HIV tests. And since that van has been here and left, 80% of the men in this neighborhood, Fort Lauderdale, has the HIV virus. 80%. And I warned my friend when he came, after I hadn't seen him for like 3 years when he got here after my husband passed 2009 of cancer. I warned him when he came here because I hadn't seen him since like 2005. And he came over here in 2011, started visiting me again from the islands. And I warned him. I says, this neighborhood, I've checked the statistics, has a high HIV virus ratio between the age of 15-year-old age through 45. Okay, age group 15 years through 45 years old has a high HIV virus because my studies at the university in the doctorate program, I'm always checking statistics because we always have some type of case study that we're doing. My dissertation is about youth crimes and the ratio of youth crimes in the inner city in comparison to suburbs, metropolitan neighborhoods. And is it because they live in poverty and all of those questions that I'm prepared right now to defend within the next 6 to 8 months. And I'm not going to have any problem defending it because I've watched these youth around here. I was a youth before myself, so I know exactly what's going on. I'm paying attention to them. They're going to school and they're coming home. That's what I'm seeing those around here. But we do have a handful that's involved, probably involved in to some other type of group crimes. And it's not only the black kids. We have a multiplex of different ethnic groups that live in this neighborhood. But I don't see, in this neighborhood, I don't see very many white kids at all. This is a black community, islanders. I don't see anybody, I don't see any white children. There are adults. But what I'm seeing lately is I'm seeing some wretched-faced white people, and they look Russian. And there's something going on in America lately because I am experiencing a lot of racism, and my name wears some history to it. Military and kings, masters, and those who own. Bland's own practically the United States. George Washington was a Bland. They're not going to tell you that. Look it up. Yes, he was. Married to Margaret Kennedy. So the Blands and the Kennedys are related through marriage. And we got a John Bland 1, John Bland 2, John Bland 3. I did my research on myself, my genealogical report in one of my class studies in the master's program. And we got something going on. Well, right now, I quieted the screaming demon down. But they are harassing the minority groups. We got some Russians up in here trying to run us out of our homes with this loud noise. And some strange scanner or some strange target came from that ceiling. I saw it. It came like a laser in my house, like a red light, like a laser, and it hit me in the head, and I saw a splatter, and I saw an X. And I told my friend that was here with me, I asked him, I said, did you see that? Something just shot me in the head, and I saw the blood and everything, people. I am not lying to you. We have some repressive government that's moved in here that's not tied to, they call the NGO, non-government organization, is trying to take over. And what they're doing is they're trying to harass black people who they feel are weak, who they feel do not have any rights. And around here trying to control us, making us open up our doors to come in here to check my installation mount with my telephone. AT&T coming in here several times with the police. And the reason I cut my wires with that telephone, because we have a high number of people here that cannot even afford to pay their rent and mortgage, that they are using the ones who are paying their rent and mortgage utilities through some type of scam, that they can get your lights, they can make your refrigerator talk, and they can make your refrigerator make all sorts of noises because they're generating off your energy. They're scanning you. Every time you look around, somebody got a cell phone. Every time you look around, they got a cell phone, and they're looking at you suspicious, and they're looking at you, and they pointing, and they'll do something nimble like that, hold in front of your face, and act like they're doing like that, and they're scanning you. There's a lot of suspicious things going on in America, and you're ignoring it, and you're acting like you're happy, and you know what's going on. And I have always said to the black community that I live around, that we need to start looking out for each other. Because just like I've read this book, Race and Research, it says they want to know, this woman want to know why is 8 black kids sitting together in the lunchroom, because that makes them nervous. Now let's get started. We got here the National Sunday Law. Forces Unite Amid Stupendous Crisis by Ajan Marcuson. The Two-Horned Beast. The nation trembles. Passenger jets explode into buildings. Mountains of fire, steel, smoke, and terrified, struggling people fall to the street together as skyscrapers crumble in the dust. Thousands perish. America is at war. A new kind of war fills our minds with pictures of strange faces, like I just got done saying. Strange looking white people that I've never seen in America. Balls of fire, women screaming, and that's what I'm hearing. A lot of screaming and talking going on in the atmosphere. Dust-filled people like mummies running from the cloud jam, the bridges. We're at war, the president said. The world will never be the same. Will terrorism, like some giant octopus, engulf the world? Now that's a question. Will terrorism, like some giant octopus, engulf the world? Or will World War III end it all? And I believe what's going on here is that somebody is trying to rush World War III. Because it's an ethnic cleansing that's going on right now in Africa, in the Middle East. Genocide. And what they need to do is, as they said, the people in power here in America, re-educate or be eliminated. Next, we're going to go now on an incredible journey behind the scenes and take a shocking glimpse. Something's happening in our country. I have to agree. Something strange. Have you noticed the trends? 38 people looking out their windows in a quiet, respectable neighborhood of New York City watched a murder that took a full half hour to commit and did nothing about it. That's why I said we need to look out for each other, black people. 38 people watched Catherine Genovese being stabbed again and again in front of her home and didn't care. They just leaned out their windows as if watching the Late Show, waited till it was over, and went back to bed. Since America was attacked, we're talking about the 9/11, are things different now? Get ready for a shock. You're going to go behind the scenes and see awesome things that are happening, leading to a great crisis in our land. It all starts on a stark rocky island, and to the horizon stretches the vast expanse of the murky deep. One lone figure rests on a barren ledge of sheer rock. his name John the Revelator. What he sees is fantastic. Strange beasts, clashing armies, nations rising. It's no surprise that the greatest nation on earth should be mentioned in prophecy. What John sees portends events shaping up in the United States that most definitely will affect you. Watch closely now as the scene unfolds. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, as he speak as a dragon. Revelation 13th chapter 11th verse. A beast in prophecy represents a kingdom. And that kingdom is a kingdom that has to be reclaimed. British authority. Daniel 7 chapter 23. Now, in 1776, the U.S. won their independence from British authority. As the settlers came over here, they had taxes and tariffs that they did not pay to the Queen. And it all ended up with the Boston Massacre. And then they have the celebration with tea, the Tea Party, and they were drunken, and they get the shooting while they were drunk, and killed some of these men that were sent over by the Queen or by the King. I haven't really read too much. I'm just rekindling on what I remember. To get these men over here to stop the slave trade, because that's what they had come over here to do. Now we have Scotland, we have France, and we have London. And if you ever watched the movie Amistad, you would understand what I'm talking about, because there were many trials about ending slavery around the 19th century. We'll say between 1876, I believe, or 1860s to the 1870s, approximately. Because it is when the Confiscation Act was enacted here in the United States, so that the blacks were to be removed from the oppressions of enslavement of their masters, were freed by our President Lincoln, who in fact had given blacks an opportunity to be happy if they leave America, and to board ships of 5,000 or more African Americans who were already here, ended up in the islands. Hispaniola ended up in Jamaica, ended up in South America, some of them. Puerto Rico, I believe it's now, because it's a part of the States. But many of the blacks did not, they protested their rights. And they had lawyers that were standing firm for them as well. And women were fighting. Not only black women, but white women were fighting for black men, because they were only two were given the opportunity to vote, were white women and black men. So when black men were given the opportunity to vote, the mobs, the middle class white men, or the mobs of slave owners, had begun the lynch bill. And at the time, we had FDR, Franklin D.R. Roosevelt was the president, and he was afraid he was not going to win the second term. And what he had done is he decided not to stop the lynch bill. And because of that, many black men and black boys were just abducted, and they were hanged all over South Florida, all the way in Georgia, all of the southern colony states, Alabama, all over Kentucky, all over. I mean, it just was a lynch going on, because if blacks were given the opportunity to vote, then all of the positions that our nationalist parties, who self-proclaimed themselves as judges, as doctors, and were practicing medicine. They were just giving people medicine and just testing people out. They were testing Hispanic women with birth control pills. They did the Tuskegee um, uh, 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 syphilis experiment on black men, the Holocaust. So all of the weaker, underdeveloped, all of the people who were considered um, peasants or underdeveloped or underprivileged had something done to them, some type of experiment, because everyone had to test and trial before they became knowledgeable of the new, of what was going to become of the future. And so it's one of the reasons why, because London, England, were nearly penniless then, because London, they used to just throw just everything, their slop, their feces, everything out the window. London was a place where it was mire and squalor everywhere on the ground. You couldn't find any place, and it's one of the and London and Germany has the highest pollution in the world, and many people who come from there are dying from cancer. So what we have here is that the British settlers, and of which many of them are from Scotland, France, and London, they wanted to continue that slave trade because they could not make a living without the slave trade. So what they had done was move it here. They start to look for a new world because they want independence away from British authority. And they found Columbus started the sailing, and it was many before Columbus discovered America. And we had Ponce de Leon. Many explorers was out there trying to find a new home. And they settled here in America and ran into the natives, the American Indians, who were very welcoming and showed them how to maize and how to grow, make a living and survive here. And then once they get here, these French nationals and British settlers and Scottish men, and some of them, as I believe, were from Ireland or maybe from Russia. I'm not sure, but it was so many different parts of the Republic of China. They even had Chinese come here. They had the Jewish people came to America. So with the flow of that, everyone needed to start their own business to learn how to uh, fend for themselves. They had to have some type of skill. They had to go to school, become pastors, doctors, lawyers, teachers, and that's the Confiscation Act. And that was mainly targeting blacks because blacks were pulled from enslavement, and because of that, the white men who businesses now were in jeopardy because of the plantation, the cotton, and everything. It was just a business. They didn't have anybody else to go out there in the fields, because some blacks stayed and some didn't. So that ended up with a lot of problems for black people because they did not listen to the new order, and like we got a new world order now. They didn't listen to the new world order to ship out and go north and start a career and go to school. Some remained back because they were not educated, headed south. But they ran into many vicious mobs, that murdered and slaughtered many black people. We're talking about over 10 million black people from the Congo were slaughtered by Leopold, while Hitler had slaughtered 6 million Jewish. And there were so many others before and after. But now here in the U.S. has never paid those taxes, those tariffs. So I don't know what's going on in the White House, but I believe that all these years with not paying the tariffs, and they had to shoot it out to win British authority, to win their freedoms from British authority. I do not believe that America has yet been freed from British authority. And I think that is because of that tariff that was never paid. And I really believe right now that Russia is trying to claim the world. And Russia is trying to claim the world is that strong power, that giant that we're talking about right here. When a beast comes up out of the sea, it is represented in prophecy as rising amid many peoples and multitudes, a highly populated area. Revelation 17th chapter, 15th verse. Now, a beast coming out of the sea to me is not a beast, it's a submarine. Because I don't believe that there's going to be a big dragon coming out of the sea. Because we have the bear as a symbolic of Russia, the eagle symbolic of America, lion symbolic of London, the image of a man symbolic of Jesus Christ, or of those who call out to Allah, because many of their flags that they are holding up has an image of a man, as in Saddam Hussein. You remember they used to hold it up, but I'm not sure if we're talking about Iran or Iraq, because they do have an image of a man that's their prime minister always holding up, or if we're talking about Jesus Christ. So that's questionable, image of a man. But what we have here right now is a lot of disturbances going on, unnecessary disturbances. And as I remember President Obama saying that, why is it that the GOP would rather reclaim slavery than to negotiate, as what they were talking about, as I think it was something to do with health care, Obamacare. If I'm wrong on that, it was several things going on, but I think that's what he's talking about, Obamacare. To come out of the earth is just the opposite. So here we have a nation that is springing up out of a wilderness area. Instead of overthrowing vast and well-trained armies from the dense populations of the old world, this nation would be area discovered. In the eyes of the known world, it would be new territory. And we're talking about U.S. And that's what I'm talking about. Russia is here. And I don't think they're here to be our friends. I've read, MSNBC, I think it was, or some blogs I've read on the internet, news blogs, what was I going to say? I'm sorry. I read on some news blogs that Russia, there is some army guys in the army, and I went through the videos. They had said that they were going to burn the USA to the ground. That's what they got out there, and it's at YouTube. I also watched a video on YouTube, because it was around the time when we had that strange two sons, Nibiru, Nemesis, and it was talking about that we are now changed over to the Mayapan, and some people are saying that they are caught in between a matrix. We are now, I believe, we're no longer in the solar system. I think that we're lost in space, because there's quite a few new planets out there, and I believe that God is replacing Earth with a new planet, because our solar energy is not the same. We lost power. We're losing a lot of power and energy. And many of the people that live around me, I don't think that they're able to afford the electricity, power utilities, because somebody is surging off my energy here in my home. And I don't think that I think that there's some people who are in foreclosure, if some, because many of people are in foreclosure around the U.S., around the globe, but due to that financial crash. And after 9/11, 2001, 7 years later, we had the financial crash. Then we had the real property uh, conspiracy of being a scandal where many people were given mortgages at high rates, and then soon as these people bought the mortgages, bought the new property houses, um, the the high inclination of the value plummeted, and now you're upside down. So what we have here is people who are not able to afford the things that they should be able to afford, and they're feeding off the network of other homeowners, stealing your internet, stealing your files from your computer. It's a lot of things going on, and that as well as scanning you and doing all sorts of crazy things to your mind and bothering with your body parts and things and talking to you all day and harassing. And that's where the signs of the end of times, because people are losing, that they're uncivilized, and they're not governed, and they think that they don't have to follow the U.S. Constitution, that you no longer have rights, that they can say anything they want to you on a loudspeaker and exploit somebody's business while they're using the restroom. Velma's taking a crap, it stinks, and all this kind of stuff. So now I that is why I believe we have Russians here, because we don't do that here in the United States. We don't speak out about somebody's privacy in their home, and I'm trying to figure out how to get in here, because I'm here by myself. I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm here at my home alone. I have an apartment home. There's no one in my home. This is my home. There's no one in my home. Okay? We got another room back there. Where are these sounds coming from? Who's talking to me? Why are they harassing me? There's something going on. For the past 10 years, my family members act like I was outcast since I started attending college. I think I'm better than everybody. I guess they wanted to see me on the strip pole or standing on the corner selling my body. That would have made them much more proud of me. But I say my mother is passed on, my father is passed on both paternal and maternal family. My grandparents are passed on. And when they died, everybody else started acting stupid. So if they want to act like they don't like me, I don't care. I can care less, because I like me. That's what's important. I like me. And I know Jesus is on my side, because I'm not bothering you. You're bothering me. Instead of overthrowing vast and well-trained armies from the dense populations of the old world, this nation would be an area discovered. Just as they discovered the U.S. many years ago in 1492, we will be rediscovered by those who want everything we have. Because America has the best resources than any country in the world. And that's why I believe we are going to face some problems here if these people do not recognize who has just came in here. We need to close down immigration. We need to close down the airports, and I'm not joking. And you need to get your soldiers home, U.S. In the eyes of the known world, it would be new territory. Differing from the often blood-soaked nations of Europe, it would spring up quietly, peacefully, like a lamb. And that's what I'm saying. People are sneaking in here. We got some people in here that are in here squatting. They are illegal immigrants that our president felt sorry for them because he has a big heart and wanted them to receive over $365 million, I think it was, in funds to help them so that they can come in America and won't have to go back to the repressions of those of the governments that they live, and that was disapproved by GOP because we're helping everybody outside, but we're not helping the black people in America. We're not helping us. They're not helping us because the reason they're not helping us because everybody pretending that they got money. Everybody is pretending that they're doing all right, but they're stealing and doing all sorts of things everywhere, killing, raping, stealing, sabotaging, stealing identity. Now, when did we ever have that so vast and a high number in America? Where identity is being stolen. Your debit cards, they scanning you and can get your debit card number, your passwords from your computer by just coming in your house through Google and coming down with a cell phone. And they got the Google and a Comcast smartphones, and they come in your house and they looking right at me, right at me right now, over my head right now. They're right here over my head. They come in through the sky and come in overhead, over my head, and everything I'm doing, they can see what I'm doing. And it's the truth. And it's NASA. It's got us wide open. Our security is wide open, America. We do not have any privacy. It's not just Velma Bland doesn't have privacy. America does not have privacy anymore. And you can laugh and chuckle all you want to. Because I hear a lot of chuckling and laughing and giggling going on. And these police officers think they got it made in the shade. They better get their behinds to Homeland Security. That's what they better do. Because since 9/11, you were supposed to go over there since 2003 because Bush Jr. administration transferred all immigration authority documentations and all that records to Homeland Security. That's why you have a Homeland Security. And they got our police officers branded as men who just sit around donut shops and drink coffee. And when it comes down to recognizing that you got a baker rack, they're shooting and killing these people instead. We need to re-educate the police officers that when you see a man with a knife and he's yelling and screaming and he's out of his mind, that's a baker rack. You don't taser him and kill him. They had a man here, Ora Brown, not long ago, I think his name was. Or was it Omar? It was a Brown. He was driving and he had an accident, went off the road and flipped over. And he ended up in the swap meet. And he had a concussion, I guess, because it bumped his head. Well, he survived the accident, people. But he got out of the car and he was like disoriented. And someone called the police on him. When the police came there, they tasered the man, and then because he was acting wild and he lost his mind because he fell on his head, the car flipped over. And they put him in a chokehold, and killed the man. We need to get these police officers trained. I'm not saying that they don't know their jobs. I'm saying that they need to think when you see a person that's mentally ill, you don't taser them and choke them and kill them. Or he fell on his head. He had just car tumbled and had an accident. So when he was like suffering with amnesia. He didn't know who he was. I'm a medical professional. You don't just taser people when they got a knife and acting crazy and shoot and kill them because you have a gun. Throw a fishnet over. Why don't y'all get into them fishnets and put those lasers down? Those tasers. You throw a fishnet over him, you gonna get it. You can't go nowhere. That's what y'all need to get. Because he's shooting people now and they're mentally ill. Or you're misinterpreting people like me as crazy, and I am in the doctorate fellow status. High honors. I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. All of a sudden I'm crazy. When you are lectured by professors with higher learning, tenured statuses, I am a snippet of everyone that taught me. You're insulting the professors to say that I'm crazy, that I'm a dope. Because they're not adults, I'm not a dope. I have learned from professors who are knowledgeable in their expertise and in their professions. We're not dopes. We understand the literature. We know what's going on. We can look and interpret things. You don't send any lawyer training students from FIU around here to harass me, following me around and looking at me like if I'm a criminal. Felons can't buy a house. I own this condo. I'm not a felon. What criminal record? You don't have a criminal record on me. You don't have anything on me. You're just making up lies. And got people harassing me around here to see if I lose my temper. Because I'm telling you, if I lose my temper, you will be handcuffing me, police officers. And you said that's what you want. That's what you want me to do. I don't attack anybody. I have never attacked anyone in my life. I'm the one that's always getting attacked and laughed at and picked at. And that's why I went back to college and I lift myself up from the ground at these people, some of which are my family members and guys in my life using me and throwing me away. And I decided to go back to school and make something out of myself. And now they're all mad at me because I didn't turn out to be a tramp-ass whore. Because that tramp-ass whores is on the strip club, have the babies for them, and they never married them. They're mad because I wasn't one of them. That's what's going on with me. And I don't care what they're mad about. This is my life. I got to make myself happy, and I want you to stop listening to my conversations and stop sending your NASA down here with your scanners and your satellite and shooting me in the head. And I'm like, what the world was that? And yes, you did. What you all looking at me for? Look at yourself. Can you guess what nation of the New World arose into power, giving promise of strength and greatness that would fit this description? Sure, the United States. It sprang up like a plant from the ground. A prominent author from 100 years ago speaks of the mystery of her coming forth from vacancy and adds, like a silent seed, we grew into an empire. And they won our empire. The Russians won it. You better believe it and stop letting them in here. The Pilgrims and settlers met up with the Indian tribes, but compared to the crowded cities and millions of the old world, America was a wilderness. And he had two horns like a lamb. The lamb-like horns indicate youth, gentleness, and represent civil and religious freedom. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution reflect these noble views. Because of these very principles, our nation became great. The oppressed and persecuted from all lands have looked to the U.S. with hope. And that's why many of the people from international countries or underdeveloped countries immigrated here, because America has opened the doors to offer freedoms, liberty, and justice to all. But that all did not include the Black Americans. And we still feel like we're not included in that all. And I'll speak for myself. I don't feel like I'm included in it. Because I've suffered in America all my life. And I'm trying to get done with this program that if it wasn't for me having credentials and my credit clean, I would not have been financed to finish a doctorate program. Because once you finish your master's program, master's degree, you're capitated. All of your funds are capitated. You're no longer getting any more student loans, people. I am independent. You don't need to call my university Nova and say, oh, you see me doing this and see me doing that, because they do not own me like that. They are my educators. And I was accepted in the program, and I don't break any rules at the university. They don't need you to call and say that, oh, telling all kind of lies on me, and I'm yelling and screaming and cussing everybody else out in my neighborhood. They're not my employers. Because the reason I might have done that, like I've done in the last video, is because you are harassing me. You are meddling in my business, And you're trying to make my home unhappy with this blast off network bullcrap that does nothing but make people angry. And then you wonder why all these young kids lately has been shooting up the school grounds. Because they're being harassed by their classmates. And some of the teachers are mistreating them too. And they're not being treated well at home by their parents. And then they become outraged and go into a rage or fit and go home and get the daddy's gun and shoot up everybody. You have to know when to stop pressing people buttons. You have to know when it's time to stop pressing people buttons. Because you're causing people to get killed with your stupid blast. And it's stupid what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense to hear all that noise. It doesn't value to any amount of anything. All it is a noise gator dot executive. And whosoever designed it, I'm going to find out. Because if they don't stop making noise around here talking to me in Skype or whatever they're doing in voice caller, call them all, robocall. Robocall, yes, I got it, Skype. They're using Google and they're tracking me. And you can track me all you want to because I got this switchblade here. When you come here in my face to try to mess with me, Russia, I got my switchblade for your ass. Because we got black Russians here and we got white Russians. You're not gonna touch me. You're not gonna touch me. And I'm saying it on open video. I am not gonna let anybody grab me and kidnap me and cut my head off and put me on a barbecue grill. And that is exactly the threats that I've been getting. And if you don't believe me, go to humanmeat.com. Humanmeat.com. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to get you and all this. I'm waiting for you. Because I'm going to cut you. Because you are not going to put your hands on me and throw me in no car, Russia. But the beast with the lamb-like horn spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Revelation 13:11-13. That's all I'm going to read in the book right now, but National Sunday Law, a stupendous crisis awaits us. The book you have in your hand takes you behind the scenes and explores the shocking who, how, and when, and these are interrogators. Now, but what I've read in here, they're talking about the first Sunday law, the earliest recognition of the observation of Sunday as a legal duty is a constitution of Constantine in 321 AD after David, enacting that all courts of justice, inhabitants of towns, and workshops were to be at rest on Sunday. Venerability die solis, with an exception in favor of those engaged in agricultural labor. And it's written in the Encyclopedia Britannica 9th edition, Article Sunday. The Latin original is in the Codes Justiniani, Codes of Justinian, Lib 3, Title 12, Lex 3. The law is given in Latin and in English in Philip Schaff's History of the Christian Church, Volume 3, Third Period, Chapter 7, Section 75, page 380, footnote 1. And in Albert Henry Newman's A Manual of Church History, Philadelphia, the American Baptist Publication Society, 1933, revised and edited, Volume 1, page 305, pages 305 through 307. And in Leroy E. Froome, The Prophetic Faith of Our Fathers, Washington, D.C., Review and Herald's Publishing Association, 1950, Volume 1, pages 376 through 381. The first day, Bible Texas, millions of conscientious Christians attend church every Sunday, the first day of the week. They do so believing that somewhere, somehow, someone changed the day of worship. Either that or they aren't aware that God set aside the seventh day, not the first day of the week, as his holy day. It is true, a change has been made. But by whom? We've discovered that God made the Sabbath during the first week of Earth's history. He set it aside as a weekly appointment between man and himself, as a blessing, a refreshment, a date between two lovers, so to speak, God and man. If God changed his mind about his special appointment day with us, wouldn't he have recorded so momentous an adjustment in the Bible? We've already seen that the beast power claims to have made the change, but what does the Bible say about it? There are 8 texts in the New Testament that mention the first day of the week. Look at them carefully. Matthew 28, verse 1, Mark 16, chapter, verse 1 and 2, Mark 16, chapter, verse 9, Luke 24th chapter, verse 1, John 20th chapter, verse 1, John 20th chapter, verse 19, Acts 20th chapter, 7th verse and 7th and 8th verse, Corinthians 1, 16th chapter, verse 1 and 2. The first 5 texts simply state that the women came to the sepulchre early on the resurrection morning and that Jesus rose from the dead. Now look up John 20, 19th verse in your Bible. It tells us that Jesus appeared to the disciples later on the resurrection day. It says that the reason they were assembled was for fear of the Jews. They were scared, no telling when the Jews might grab them and treat them to the same fate as their master. They were hiding. They had seen their beloved master die on Friday. They returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. Luke 23rd chapter 56 verse. And now they're hiding with the doors shut for fear of the Jews. John 20th chapter 19th verse. So as it continued, there's no mention of a change. Okay, because God said that, the Jews were the chosen people because of Abraham was appointed to judge over the entire city where Abraham and his sons, was it Jacob and were his sons Jacob, his son Jacob, yes, Jacob. And then Jacob had 2 sons. But anyways, what's going on is that it seems like we lost our protection from the police department. It seems like the police department doesn't care about what's going on in the city. They're just sitting down waiting for Velma Bland to commit a crime so they can handcuff her and arrest her and put her in prison for first-degree murder or something, or whatever they think she's supposed to do. Because I got all these scanners and all these people watching and surveillancing me, and I'm not a criminal. I really don't know what's going on. But I don't think that we have equal protection of the law anymore in Apartment 142. I don't think that we have, no one believes that I'm an American anymore. They think I'm from the islands. Every time I look around, they thought I was from Jamaica. No, I am African American. I was born and raised in Florida, born at home delivery. That makes it even better. So I really don't know what's going on, but I'll tell you that everything I've said in this video, it comes from the heart. And you have Russians has arrived in America. They used to say the red coats are coming, the British are coming. Now the Russians are coming. Good night and thank you, Velma Bland.